Have you ever wondered what life is like in Russia, the country of single women? Get ready to embark on a fascinating journey through the bustling streets of Moscow, the vast plains of Siberia, and even the picturesque towns along the Black Sea coast. This video will take you on a unique adventure, revealing the secrets and curiosities of one of the world's most intriguing countries. So, hold on tight because we're about to explore the fascinating world of Russia, where life is a constant surprise and single women are just a small part of this captivating story. When we think of Russia, the dominant figure that often comes to mind is President Vladimir Putin, evoking power and an image of a country led by powerful men, where women are in the minority. And you wouldn't be wrong. Power is primarily concentrated in male hands. But what you may not realize is that this idea of powerful, strong Russian men may be somewhat distorted from the current reality, and in fact, women are the majority in this country. Surprising, isn't it? In this video, we'll present a different reality, debunk some ideas, and share facts that will surely make you reconsider your perspectives on Russia. Are you curious? Come with us to discover this reality. Russia is the largest country by land area on the globe. It's located between Europe and Asia and spans a total of 11 time zones. Health and education are priorities, and essential services are widely accessible to everyone, without exception. With an extensive transportation network that includes roads, railways, and modern pipelines, Russia is a vital logistical hub between Asia and Europe. Its solid infrastructure plays a crucial role in the local economy. Though it is a democracy, Russia faces criticism for controversial measures, corruption, and censorship. Internationally, there are questions about human rights, but anyone who thinks it's all about brutality and militarism would be mistaken. One curiosity about the country is its extremely unique culture, especially in its appreciation for various forms of artistic expression, such as literature and music. In the land of the Tsars, another notable fact is the gender disparity. Did you know that Russia has more women than men? The history of this imbalance dates back over 100 years, due to deep-rooted causes, including wars and contemporary events like World War II, which led to the loss of more than 25 million Russian soldiers in combat. This difference persists to this day. In 2018, data from Rosstat, the Russian statistics agency, revealed that 54% of the Russian population was female, while men accounted for 46%. But you'd be completely mistaken if you think this disparity is only due to the wars and conflicts the country has faced and continues to face. There are several factors unrelated to the military field. For every newborn girl in Russia, approximately 1.6 boys are born, aligning with the global average of 1 boy per girl. However, starting at age 25, there is a strange decline in the proportion of men, eventually leading to fewer than 1 man per woman, a phenomenon not observed in other parts of the world. And now you must be wondering, what are the reasons behind this phenomenon? Today, the life expectancy of Russian men is notably impacted by vices like alcoholism and tobacco use. Globally, smoking is responsible for 1 in 10 deaths, with half of this number concentrated in just 4 countries, Russia being one of them. Currently, it ranks as the 5th country with the largest number of smokers in the world, reaching 41% of its population. Notably, this rate is almost 3 times higher among men, who report a 60% smoking rate, while among women, this percentage is only 23%. Another worrying factor is alcohol consumption. Russia, known worldwide for its strong appreciation for vodka, is a clear example of this. According to a recent study published in the specialized journal The Lancet, 25% of Russian men lose their lives before the age of 55, with alcohol, especially vodka, being the main factor. Today, each Russian adult consumes an average of 13 liters of pure alcohol per year, of which 8 liters are spirits, mainly vodka. But believe it or not, this figure has decreased over time. According to a 2012 report, around 500,000 annual deaths in Russia were related to alcohol consumption, with Russians drinking an average of about 32 liters of alcohol per year at that time. In Brazil, the comparable figure is 9.2 liters per adult, with 54% of that consumption in the form of beer and 40% in spirits. Speaking of beer, did you know that it wasn't considered alcohol in Russia? People of any age could buy and drink beer, as it was classified as food considered a type of soft drink. Only in 2011, when a law enacted by then-President Dmitry Medvedev came into force, was all beer officially recognized as an alcoholic beverage. To give you an idea of how much the population, especially men, enjoys a bira, in 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev, then president of the country, launched a campaign against alcoholism, thinking that if the population drank less, productivity would increase, pulling the country out of the economic crisis. However, this was not exactly what happened. These anti-alcohol measures had unexpected consequences. In some negative cases, the increase in alcohol prices led to a decline in the domestic market, causing unemployment and product shortages. Thus, people turned to illegal alternatives, such as homemade drinks and the consumption of substances not intended for human consumption. Anything served to replace vodka, from perfumes to insecticides. A study conducted by the Pure Research Center in 2013 revealed a clear gender disparity in attitudes toward alcohol consumption. Surprisingly, 52% of women considered alcohol consumption morally unacceptable, compared to 36% of men. Irresponsible attitudes related to alcohol also affect the male population. Traffic accidents, drowning deaths, and other incidents contribute to these premature statistics. Want another example? Have you heard of the bizarre Russian roulette game? Famous for its potentially deadly risk, where a player loads a single bullet into a revolver, spins the cylinder, points the barrel at their head or body, whether it be their opponent's or their own, and pulls the trigger? Well, Russian roulette was the entertainment of the drunken aristocrats of the Russian Empire, who were usually noblemen in military service, distinguishing themselves by their bravery bordering on madness and by reckless actions such as drunkenness, gambling, visits to brothels, and a taste for vulgar jokes. Only someone very bold or drunk would invent something like that, right? But although this macabre practice apparently originated in Russia, it is in the United States where it claims more victims. One of the most famous cases occurred in 1954 when musician Johnny Ace died on Christmas Eve during the intermission of a show. A curious fact about this game is that in the Russian city of Perm, for example, locals have created non-lethal electronic weapons to play a game similar to the classic Russian roulette. Thankfully, another factor that contributes to the gender disparity is the high suicide rate. The country has the highest rates among men, with 38 cases per 100,000 inhabitants in 2019 and 2020, according to WHO estimates. These alarming rates among men are often associated with emotional problems and social pressures. The easy access to dangerous means worsens this sad reality. Many men face emotional issues such as deep sadness and anxiety, and unfortunately, some avoid seeking help for fear of being judged by others. Life pressures, such as job loss and financial difficulties, have a significant impact, leaving many men feeling hopeless. Following the patriarchal and macho model, they seek to be seen as strong, avoiding showing weaknesses and sometimes refraining from seeking support when they need it. Moreover, excessive alcohol consumption, as mentioned earlier, is another big problem that contributes to these statistics, as alcohol can further intensify feelings of despair. What's most intriguing about all this is that, even on a smaller scale, many behaviors do not find acceptance among Russian women. In the past, the scarcity of men in Russia fueled the perception, among both women and men, that women were very lucky to find partners. Unfortunately, this mentality trapped many women in abusive relationships, driven by the fear of being single. Domestic violence, frequently associated with alcohol consumption, affected up to 1 in 3 women, according to the National Center for the Prevention of Violence in Moscow. Sadly, domestic violence was or continues to be accepted by both the government and society as a whole. A clear example reflecting this was a Russian survey conducted in 2013 involving 10,000 women, with the most regrettable fact of this study being that more than a third, that is 37%, admitted to accepting a husband's right to use physical force against his wife. In other words, there is a tradition that men are like this, and this is what is expected of them. Currently, the situation remains practically the same in terms of gender equality, related to wage equality and representation in leadership positions. Although many women in Russia have higher education and actively participate in the workforce, the wage gap between men and women remains a relevant issue. Additionally, domestic violence and sexual harassment continue to be social challenges in a patriarchal and macho society. Patriarchal and macho. However, something that has started to change is the way women view these behaviors. According to an article published in the online newspaper The Daily Beast Company, many women have lost hope of finding suitable partners among Russian men. They face a long list of complaints, from harmful habits like smoking and excessive drinking to traditional expectations about gender roles. And, of course, violent behavior. The dating landscape has become so discouraging that some women consciously decide to remain single. In Moscow, for example, more than 3 million women between the ages of 25 and 50 are single, tripling the number of single men in the same age range. Many of these Russian women express a lack of interest in marrying men from their own country, citing complaints about inappropriate behavior, outdated expectations, and professional challenges. Many Russian women are redefining their ideas of what they consider happiness and love. Some choose relationships with non-Russians, while others opt for a single life rather than accepting traditional norms that do not satisfy them. It's no surprise that all these issues are affecting Russia's birth rate. In 2020, in a conference, President Vladimir Putin said, "The future and historical perspective of Russia depend on how many of us there are." Additionally, recent events, such as the war with Ukraine and the COVID-19 pandemic, have further aggravated the Russian demographic crisis. The war has significantly reduced the number of men of reproductive age. This factor, combined with the pandemic, has resulted in a population nightmare, which is another significant challenge for Vladimir Putin as Russia faces an increasingly complex and troubling demographic reality. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you found the content useful and enlightening. Your opinions are very important to us, so we invite you to leave your comments and share your thoughts below. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Thank you once again, and see you next time.